Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're going to talk about an organ that gets treated like, well, like it's totally disposable, the gallbladder.
Ah, yes, the gallbladder. That little sac hiding under the liver,
Mm,
the one we seem really eager to just eject at the first sign of trouble.
exactly. And get this statistic is just wild. Over 3,000 gallbladder removal surgeries happen every single day in the U.S.
3,000 daily.
Daily. So if this organ is really so optional, why do we see, tons of people complaining about issues, sometimes for years after it's gone?
That is the big question, isn't it? And that's sort of our mission today. We're diving into why treating the gallbladder like a spare tire might be, well, a really bad idea.
A spare tire, I like that.
Think of it more like the stage manager of your digestive system. You fire the stage manager, the whole show can fall apart.
Okay, I like that analogy. So let's talk about the stage manager job. We know the liver makes bile, gallbladder stores it. Simple, right. But clearly it's more than just storage.
Oh, much more. Storage is maybe the least interesting part. The gallbladder is the bile processor. Specifically, it's the concentrator.
Concentrator, okay, like boiling down a sauce to make it richer.
Exactly like that. Function one, concentration. The liver makes this thin, kind of watery bile. The gallbladder sucks out the extra water, makes it maybe 10 times stronger. Really potent.
Wow, 10 times.
Yeah. And you need that potent bile to break down fats properly. It's essential for absorbing those key fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, E, K1, K2, and your omega-3s. Without concentration, absorption just tanks.
So it's not just about digesting fat, it's about getting the actual nutrients from the fat. And timing. Timing must be important, too.
Absolutely. That's function two, regulation and timing. And make sure you get this big, powerful squirt of bile exactly when you eat fat.
Yeah.
Not just a slow, useless trickle all day long.
Right, because a constant trickle wouldn't do much against a fatty meal.
Precisely. And that lack of regulation, that constant dripping when the gallbladder's gone, that causes a whole heap of problems later on.
Okay, concentrates, regulates timing. What else? Is it talking to the rest of the body?
Oh, definitely. Function three, it's the main way your body gets rid of excess cholesterol. Bile flow carries it out. If that's not working right, cholesterol builds up. And function four, it's got other systemic roles too. That concentrated bile is antimicrobial, helps keep bad bugs in check in your gut. It even helps with detoxification by triggering glutathione, a major antioxidant.
An antioxidant trigger, too. This little organ is busy.
It really is. And get this, it even influences thyroid hormones. We often see folks with hypothyroidism feel a bit better when they support their bile production. It's all interconnected, you know?
Wow. Okay, so it's way more than a sac. It's a central regulator,
Yeah.
which makes the reason for removal gallstones seem different. The story is usually too much cholesterol, bad organ.
And that's where the narrative just goes completely off the rails. Yes, gallstones are concentrated cholesterol, but here's the key part everyone misses. They form when you have that cholesterol, plus really low levels of bile salts.
So it's not just too much cholesterol.
It's not enough bile to keep it dissolved. Gallstones are basically a symptom of bile deficiency. Think of soap scum in a drain. The problem isn't just the scum, it's that the water flow isn't strong enough to wash it away.
Okay, that totally reframes it, which leads us perfectly into, let's call them, the 6 shockers. Things maybe your doctor forgot to mention. Shocker number 1, surgery is your only option.
That's just, well, it's often not true, unless it's a true emergency situation like a blockage. There are alternatives. Oral bile salts, for one.
Oral bile salts, like taking bile as a supplement.
Exactly. And studies show they work. One study showed they dissolved stones in 50% of people. Another found nearly 80% success within like 6 to 12 months. Non-invasive.
80% success without surgery. Why isn't that the first thing we try?
Great question. And there's more. Lithotripsy, using sound waves to break up the stones, like they do for kidney stones. Sometimes they can even mechanically remove the stone without taking the whole organ. Or use things like EDTA, a chelator. Patients deserve to know all the options.
Absolutely. Okay, shockers 2 and 3 are almost funny if they weren't so misleading. It's a diseased organ, and diet doesn't matter.
Right. I mean, come on. It's part of the digestive system. How can diet not matter? A gallstone is usually a symptom, a metabolic issue, not the gallbladder itself just deciding to be diseased.
It's like blaming the smoke detector for the fire.
Perfect analogy. Your car's sputtering and the mechanic says, oh, it's definitely not the weird stuff you're putting in the gas tank. It makes no sense.
Okay, now for a really serious one. Shock number 4. The myth that there are no complications after removal. You won't even miss it, they say.
Yeah, except the data shows something very different. Up to 40% of people report chronic symptoms, sometimes lasting for decades. like 25 years later.
40%, what kind of symptoms?
Chronic diarrhea is a big one. That constant bile trickle we talked about. It irritates the gut. Gastritis, indigestion, even depression and anxiety are linked.
And it gets worse, doesn't it? There's an increased risk of certain cancers.
This is the part that really needs to be highlighted because you lose that regulation, that controlled release. The constant exposure to bile acids where they shouldn't be increases cancer risk significantly. Liver cancer risk up 60%.
60%.
Bile duct cancer up 45%. Pancreatic cancer up 22%. Colon cancer up 11%. Removing the gallbladder doesn't fix the underlying problem that caused the stones. It often just shifts where the damage shows up later.
Sobering. Okay, quick hits for the last two. Shock number 5. That post-cholecystectomy syndrome, the symptoms after removal, is somehow controversial.
It's not controversial at all. It's a well-documented condition. It basically means, hey, the surgery didn't actually solve your digestive problems, and now you might have new ones.
Got it. And shock number 6. Stones during pregnancy automatically mean surgery.
Definitely get a second opinion on that one. High estrogen, common in pregnancy, or even from birth control, can mess with bile production. Often, things normalize after pregnancy, and the stones might resolve on their own. No need to rush into surgery.
Okay, so if the stone is a symptom, and often surgery isn't the only or best answer, what is the real root cause? What's the elephant in the room?
The biggest factor, overwhelmingly, seems to be high insulin, usually from insulin resistance.
High insulin, how does that connect?
It's a double whammy. High insulin tells the liver to make less bile, for one, but it also directly affects the gallbladder muscle, making it weak, kind of sluggish.
So the gallbladder can't contract properly to squeeze the bile out?
Exactly. The muscle gets lazy, flaccid, so even the little bile it has doesn't get ejected efficiently. It just sits there getting sludgy.
And what drives high insulin for most people?
Well, no big surprise here. Our modern diet. Too many refined carbs, way too much sugar, those industrial seed oils everyone uses, and honestly, eating too often, constant snacking.
Constant eating keeps insulin high, which leads us to something completely counterintuitive. That low-fat diets are actually bad for your gallbladder.
Sounds totally backwards, right? But think about it. Bile is made from cholesterol. If it slash your fat and cholesterol intake way down, your body's like, guess we don't need much bile then. It doesn't get the signal or the building blocks.
So you make less bile, and the bile you do have doesn't get stimulated to flow.
Exactly. Which, ironically, puts you at higher risk for stones compared to someone eating healthy fats.
Mind blown. Okay, second counterintuitive point. Eating less often, like intermittent fasting, is actually helpful.
Yes. If you're constantly eating, the gallbladder is constantly releasing small amounts of that weaker bile. But if you fast, you give it time to rest, collect bile, and really concentrate it.
And that super concentrated bile is better at keeping things dissolved.
Much better. It's more potent, helps prevent sludge and stones from forming in the first place.
Makes sense. We should also quickly touch on antibiotics. There's a link there, too.
There is. Antibiotics can wipe out beneficial gut microbes, and some of those microbes are crucial for recycling bile acids properly. Disrupt the gut microbiome, you disrupt bile metabolism.
And that disruption is linked to stones and weight gain, too, right?
Which is also common after gallbladder removal.
Exactly. It's all connected. The gut health, the bile, the metabolism, the weight.
Okay, so for people who still have their gallbladder and want to keep it happy, or for those who've had it removed and want to manage the aftermath, what can we actually do? What does a stage manager need?
Two main things. Stimulate bile production and stimulate bile flow. For production, you need healthy fats. Fatty fish is fantastic, especially for the DHA. Good quality olive oil, fats from well-raised animals.
And don't fear cholesterol-rich foods.
Nope. Things like butter, eggs, especially the yolks, shellfish, seafood, even liver. These actually trigger more bile synthesis. Egg yolks and liver are also packed with choline, which is a key building block for bile itself.
Got it. Building blocks in. Now, how do we get the bile flowing? Encourage that squeeze. You mentioned bitter foods. Yes. Think bitter. Things like arugula, radishes, celery, dandelion greens, also fermented foods like sauerkraut, and sharp tastes like lemon or lime juice and water. These things stimulate the gallbladder to contract and release bile.
So my salad is actually helping my gallbladder work out.
Pretty much. And that's crucial for preventing sludge buildup or for helping move bile along even if you don't have a gallbladder anymore.
Okay, one last critical piece. Stomach acid. You mentioned a connection earlier.
Super important. You need good, strong stomach acid to signal the gallbladder to release bile in the first place. Low stomach acid is incredibly common, and it can be a root cause of the whole gallbladder cascade.
So if someone has low acid, maybe from taking acid blockers or just generally,
They might need support. Simple things like apple cider vinegar and water before meals can help. Or supplements like betaine hydrochloride can boost stomach acid, which then triggers proper bile release. Fix the acid, you might fix the bile flow.
and quickly, what about stress?
Stress. Chronic stress means high cortisol. And high cortisol, whether from stress or from medications like prednisone, basically slams the brakes on bile production. Managing stress is digestive health 101.
Wow. Okay, so pulling this all together, what's the big takeaway?
The gallbladder isn't usually the villain here. It's more often a victim of our modern diet, high insulin, nutrient gaps, chronic stress. The problem isn't the organ failing. It's the whole metabolic system being under pressure.
And medicine's answer is often just remove the messenger.
Pretty much. We take out the organ that's signaling distress instead of addressing the distress itself.
Which leaves us with that final thought, that kind of uncomfortable question. When we rush to remove this stage manager, this messenger, are we really solving anything? Or are we just setting ourselves up for different, maybe even worse problems down the line, like those chronic digestive issues or increased cancer risks? Is the gallstone the real emergency, or is it the lack of options and understanding we're often given?
Something definitely worth thinking about and maybe doing some more digging on your own.